This is the Songwriting Mind, a program exploring the personal depths of creativity, stories, and craft that define songwriting. In this episode, we'll hear from Pittsburgh singer-songwriter Zack Keim. Later, Zack is joined by Chad Monticue, producer of his new album Battery Lane, and co-writer on select tracks. This episode is recorded live at Boise Contemporary Theater for Podfort at Treefort Music Festival. Enjoy.
Yeah, I think I just kind of got in the songwriting just by being a fan of music. My dad was a very big music fan, taking me to a lot of concerts all over Pittsburgh, where I'm from, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I just remember listening to like Beatles Revolver or like his like James Taylor records, and then getting into those albums, and then getting into like indie bands at the time like the Strokes, and then just starting to form my own bands in middle school and just trying to like write my own songs, you know. I think back about songwriting a lot growing up and like first picking up the guitar. I think this is the first song I actually ever wrote. I don't know, I was like in my brother's bedroom just playing guitar and messing around, and I don't know, it was just an instrumental thing, but it was like, maybe I remember it. That was the first song I ever wrote, or at least like a, melody when I'm like 12 years old. I think all songwriters kind of take inspirations from their idols, and, like I really got into the Beatles growing up, and just kind of looked up to writers and just tried to write songs. And eventually, actually it's funny because the song in this record, Alice, I wrote when I was like 16. It just came out. I was like in my dad's basement, like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning with GarageBand on like this like shitty MacBook Pro. And, I was just trying to like write a song. I was like, I'm going to write a song right now. And then I wrote that. I like put like a little distortion on the vocals, so it like kind of sounded like an old like Woody Guthrie recording or something.
Well, it's one hot summer when I met a girl and I truly loved her, because I love the things about her, and she got me high at the very start. Well, it started, I said, with one.
I was in the flow and I was just writing the song, and it took like 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or maybe an hour, but it's a memory that I look back on fondly. It's crazy now that it's on this record, but it's like one of the first songs that I wrote that I'm really proud of. Alice, it's about my best friend in middle school. It was like my first band growing up. I was in a band with his girlfriend at the time, but I was like madly in love with her. But it was also my best friend, but I got friend zoned really bad. And then I wrote Alice about, the situation, because, I really had a big crush on her, and, she was madly in love with my best friend, and, she played me just like a game.
Well, it was one hot summer when I met a girl and I truly loved her, because I love the things about her. She got me high at the very start. Well, it started outside with one another, running all to each other, but I didn't know that she had a secret plan. me the cry, 'cause you broke my heart inside, and you played me just like a game.
I lived in Pittsburgh, and then I moved to Washington, D.C., and I remember going into this apartment, and it was called Battery Lane. It was like right outside of D.C. in Maryland, and I remember I brought my like silver tone guitar at the time because I didn't have any money to buy this nice guitar. So I had a shitty guitar, and I remember being in my empty bedroom, and I took my guitar out of the case and I started writing Battery Lane. I think it was a pivotal moment in my life where I kind of got deeper with my songwriting. The original sort of idea behind Battery Lane was just like sort of, I was listening to like M. Ward a lot. If you know M. Ward, he plays in like She and Him and stuff, but progression like this, like I just started singing, moving from one city to another city, from Pittsburgh to DC. I wrote the original demo. I came back to it. I was like, my cousin, he's a very talented Berkeley grad songwriter. He can play anything, like any instrument. His name's Mitchell McDermott, but we co-wrote the song together. I was like, Mitch, I got this demo. Let's like get on a Zoom call and like work on the demo. And we finished the song together like 50-50 on a Zoom call. And eventually I took it to Chad, and then he helped produce it, and then it became the title track for the record. But this is Battery Lane.
Travel the long road, saw the shape of a rainbow. I like the weight of my unfinished dreams, tripping over my destiny. I gotta learn to let it go. Naive but eager eyes make a stain on a Friday night. I need my strings to come undone. I'm wound up sadder than a funeral drum. What a pretty life this could be. And I'm going battery lane. Something deep inside quiet's changing. Going back battery lane to let myself live again. I'm going back battery lane. Naked walls in a rise late. I'm going back, start over again. Fading face I used to know, sepia prints on the window. I hear a
Well, I moved from Pittsburgh to D.C. I was madly in love with somebody, and I moved down to another city to be with them. I lost my record label at the time. I was on a label, so I was totally independent. It was the first time on my own journey in another city, living in a random apartment. This is also the time when it's like 2020 and like COVID, right? So like, I was in an old garage band. We were like on tour in California at the time, going down the South by Southwest, bright-eyed, just trying to go down the South by, play some shows. And then the following month was going to be my first European tour. And we were supposed to play Spain and Italy. And then that got canceled because of COVID. And I was stuck with a friend out there named Paul Catrone, who's in this band called the OCs. And then when I got back from that trip, I got back to DC and I started writing Canyon, which is another song on this record. I wrote that because I was like inspired by being out in Joshua Tree and being very dehydrated and taking a bunch of edibles. Because we were all depressed. We were like mentally depressed. Like our tour got canceled, COVID, and we're just like, we had to drive all the way from San Diego back to Pittsburgh in like 2 days because the other guy had to go back to work. But I reflected on my time out in Joshua Tree when I was living in DC at Battery Lane. And I was, to survive, because like COVID happened, I started delivering Uber Eats. But I'm like delivering a Chipotle order, and I'm like doing a right turn signal, and I'm singing Canyon. But it just like, I think how I songwrite is I write a lot in voice memos. I mean, there's a lot of writers who probably just write lyrics first, but I'm the type of guy who just like, when I write a song, if it comes out randomly, I'll like record it right away on my phone. And then I'll come back to it later on and like build it. And a lot of the songs on this record started from voice memos, and then we came back to it and worked on it a little bit more. But when I was trying to survive delivering that Chipotle order, I just started singing.
Canyon, how I miss those nights. Canyon, where the water used to slide over the hills.
I might be eating something right here, but we don't know. But you can hear a turn signal, maybe like a right turn signal.
Wrapped up like a dollar.
I'm definitely eating something. I'm not eating their Chipotle order. Please don't report me, Uber Eats. I'm 5 stars all the way, but I was like, fuck, I gotta go home. So I was like, fuck the Chipotle order. Got back to my apartment, and then I wrote this demo, which is the original demo.
Canyon, how I miss those nights. Canyon, where the water used to slide over the hills. And you had my heart wrapped like a dollar bill.
Because I never went to California. I was like I was born on the East Coast. My dad and my mom were like, we're not going to California, But then I like went to California. I was like, holy shit, this is cool, It's like, my band was from Pittsburgh, and then we played with another band in Corpus Christi, Texas. So we like all got in this veggie oil van. There was this guy in Pittsburgh who rented these vans with veggie oil. You load it up with veggie oil, drive to Pittsburgh, to Corpus Christi, Texas, which we eventually ran out of veggie oil in Texas. Anyways, but we're in Corpus Christi. 12 guys in this van driving out to San Diego and Joshua Tree. And we were just like devastated. Our whole tour got canceled, We're like stuck in Joshua Tree, and luckily I had a friend who like gave us a place to stay. And but I remember driving to California for the first time from Arizona. I don't know, just like a bunch of guys, 12 dudes. Maybe we had a couple margaritas at Del Taco, but we're just driving through Arizona to California and going across the border. I remember, I think I was listening to like Wilco, just like a Wilco California Stars or something. I just like put it on. I was like, oh, I'm going driving to California. I remember driving at like 6 a.m., just driving to California and just like seeing the desert and going up the Joshua Tree and hanging out. And I was just really reflecting on like what I wanted to do with my life, because I was playing music since I've been very young. But I think that that trip was a very pivotal moment where it's like, I just like want to do my own thing. And then I wrote Canyon and all these other songs on this record that inspired Batteryland.
Canyon, how I feel so nice. Canyon, where the water used to hide over your hills, and you held my heart like a dollar bill. Canyon. Your prayer and Canyon, you're my best friend.
Cool. This is Chad Monticue. He's the producer of the record and also writer.
Thanks for having me.
So we released Canyon. It was the first. So that second demo I played you, I took it to Chad, and then we worked on it at his basement. We eventually took it to my friend Jake Hanner, and we recorded his studio in Pittsburgh. And we had a friend, one of Chad's old bandmates, Nick Snyder. If you listen to the track, there's a really cool whistle in the beginning. That really makes the track, but Nick did that.
It'll get you up. And Nick played guitar on the track. Our friend Lucas Truckenbrod played guitar on the track, and our mutual friend Jake Hanner, longtime friend of me and Zach, we've recorded a lot of music with him. And he's got a great ear, great little place. And that's where we created the album.
And it really kickstarted from Canyon, because I was the beginning of I was like, I'm a big fan of Chad and the work that he's done. And I was like, dude, just help me produce this record. And he gladly jumped on board and kicked off the album. And then eventually it led to Better Days. I released Canyon, and all these random people started finding my music. Just like, I woke up one morning and I was like at my friend's house. I was like, Ryan Adams randomly posted my song. I'm like, what the fuck? So random. I was like, why? And that was really interesting. And then Matt Costa found my music, and I was like a really big fan of his music, because I remember my cousin bought me my first iPod Nano for Christmas one year, and it had Matt Costa's song on. And he's like, dude, I really love Canyon. Would you like to come out to California and work on a song together as a co-write? And it's my first time ever co-writing. So I brought out my friend Chad, and we're like, we're going out to California. And I don't think we had a lot to the song. We had the line Better Days.
I think we kind of had the concept of Better Days and the title Better Days, but we were sitting in this really cool coffee shop near Costa's house.
Well, a diner.
Diner. And we were a little bit nervous. We're like, we're going to do this co-write in about an hour, and what the hell are we going to do? We had a few things that we were kind of messing with, and like, does Matt want to go off the cuff with us? Are we going to? So we just kind of showed up, and Matt's an incredibly generous guy. And the setting was Laguna Beach, which you couldn't ask for a better music, setting to write any kind of song. And we all just kind of sat around and started spitfiring, better days, right?
Yeah, we probably started. We got breakfast at this place in Laguna Beach at like 10 a.m. Chad and I are there. We're looking at the diner seats. They're red. If you look at the lyrics of Better Days, cherry flavored diner seats is one of the lines. And we just referenced the diner seats at the Penguin Diner in Laguna Beach. And then eventually we got went to Matt's pad, and he had like this little garden. We were hanging out. And Chad, he loves to smoke over here. And he's like, I can't smoke.
So I was smoking in my mind.
And he came out the lyrics, smoking in my mind. Because he couldn't smoke at Matt's place.
It just came out so fast. Like Zach's barking something and Matt's like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, what if it's this line? And it was so intoxicating to write like that. And then we brought it from the garden inside to Matt's place, where we just started popping off that song. And we did not stop for like, maybe a 10-minute pizza break, right?
Yeah, it started like 10 a.m., diner. And then we started writing the co-write at 1. And we were like dabbling on a couple songs, and then we started Better Days, and then we wrote from probably like maybe like 1 to 5, and Matt's like, you know what? Let's record
Let's
this.
just do it. Yeah.
So like we walked from his garden up to his apartment, and we just started tracking the song right there on the spot. And it started like a floor tom like beat, kind of like Chad and I were listening to a lot of Panda Bear at the time, like Beach Boys, and that definitely inspired the vibe of the song. And just straightforward acoustic guitar, and then Matt did the drums and electric guitar, and then Chad played the bass. And I think if that song wasn't recorded in California, it'd have a totally different feel, because it was definitely heavily inspired by being in the place we were at the time. We finished the song in like 10 hours. And the next day, we like sent it to Matt's manager, and we're like at our buddy's studio. He like masters songs, and we're like there like mastering the song. And we're like, we just finished it. It's done. It's coming out. But that was the crazy experience. Like, I never wrote a song that fast and finished it. Have you in your lifetime?
No, I think the life lesson there was just, maybe not be so precious all the time. Yeah. It was just so quick, and it was fun. Don't forget to have fun.
All right, so this is Better Days.
Sitting in a chair, flavored down the seat. Waitress outside that I wanna meet. Smoking in my mind, just won't let me feel. Some meter outside that I didn't pay. Chip in my tooth did something to say. Every little thing coming down on me today. I remember better days, long before I lost my way. Just to find the things I'll find out anyway. I recall that wicked step I took when we first met. Now I'm longing for the things I should regret. Around 1 o'clock and my coffee's cold. Keep filling me up, but I've been told I'm too young to feel this old. Waitress walked in right through the door. Asked me what I've been waiting for. I said nothing anymore. I remember better days, long before I lost my way. Just to find the things I'll find out anyway. I recall that wicked step I took when we first met. Now I'm longing for the things I should regret. Palm trees popping in the parking lot. Where I'm going I should know, 'cause where I'm going can't follow me at all. I'm walking in my old ball cap, just something to remind me that I'm too young to feel this old. I remember better days, long before I lost my way, just to find the things I'll find out anyway. I recall that wicked step that I took when we first met. Now I'm longing for the things I should regret.
At this point in the show, we took questions from the audience. The first question came from a gal asking, quote, I wanted to know if anyone or anything in particular had the biggest influence on your current album or the new songs that you've written.
I was listening to that Hamilton Leiheiser record from the Walkman with Rostam a lot. I got really into that. Definitely Panda Bear was definitely heavily influenced in the Beach Boys. Angel Olsen a lot of 60s artists. Dion recorded this record in the 70s with Phil Spector. It's called Born to Be With You. It's like very like heavy wall of sound music. I think it's underrated, but it's a great record. I don't know. What about you, Chad? Chad helped with a lot of the production on the record, so I don't know if there's any influences that he had inspirations or for this
Better
record.
Days specifically for me, I remember I'd taken a train with my family from LA back to Pittsburgh. So it was like LA to Chicago to Pittsburgh. And it was a really beautiful trip and a lot of desert trekking on the train. And I went down a Beach Boys rabbit hole post Pet Sounds with like, Smiley Smile and Flower and Surf's Up, like stuff like Beach Boy records that, there's, just different kind of things. And that Panda Bear record with Sonic Boom came out and we were just like tripping on that. Like, this shit is the shit, I love that record. I listen to it all the time still. So I think that like that combo with like the story Zach told about Matt, we communicated the sort of sound and again, working with Jake's really easy. So it was a heavy influence on Better Days for sure. But I think for just producing the record with Zach here, for me, it was just all about trying to find like it's all about communication, like I understand Zach. I think I've been friends with Zach for a long time and he's a rock and roll seeker type. He's really out to like, he's really genuinely moved by like just rock and roll records. Like my memories for shit. Zach will remember every show. You don't remember meeting that person there? Like, I'm just like, dude, I don't even remember playing there. Like, that's just anybody that knows me would laugh. But Zach remembers the details, man, and he's a rock and roll seeker type. And I want this part to sound like this, or when you're making a song, it's not just about like getting the song mapped out. Then you talk about shaping the song. Well, what am I trying to communicate? What Zach, what are you trying to say? And communicating that is the trick. This record I think is unique too because we spent a lot of time making it. Yeah. Like if you're like, oh, it took 2 years for you to write and make a record, it's like, damn, that's a long time. But at the same time, there was a lot of trips to Spain playing on tour.
Yeah, we were
US
very
dates.
active at the time.
So I think that sort of made the record unique from song to song, because you're out there getting experience and you're bringing it back to the lab. Then it's like, oh, we have this one now, or like, oh, maybe this one fits, maybe this one doesn't. So I think curating any record is what makes it unique. And to me, this record felt like something like pre Pepper's Beatles. Like it felt like a record that would be like, you listen to an old Beatles record, you got like Ringo songs like they're gonna put me in the movies, and then you've got like McCartney stuff, and then you got the Lennon stuff, and like to me, like Battery Lane has that kind of vibe because Alice is fun. Battery Lane's like very much like a classic song that could have came out like in the 90s or the early 2000s, or it feels timeless to me. Whereas Wash Away the Pain is very like modern alternative or whatever that means. But I don't know if that makes any sense. But the record is very it encompasses a lot of different...
it doesn't have one concise sound. There's a
bit of a mixtape vibe too, right?
It's a mixtape vibe, like a Beatles record, how they have there's diversity in the songwriting.
I've always been a sucker for hodgepodge.
We don't want to like limit ourselves to have like one sort of like, oh, it's gonna sound like the Ramones, It's like we wanted to be, like whatever made an album that we were happy about.
The next audience question was, and I quote, "I was wondering when or what your first experience was, whether it was listening to a recording or being at a show where you were like, oh my God, I want to do that."
Honestly, probably seeing Chad's old band, 1-2-3.
Too generous.
Yeah, I'm too generous, sorry. But seeing his band was like, they were like the cool like indie band in Pittsburgh, because we're both from Pittsburgh, and it's like seeing him growing up, they were like the bee's knees, but like seeing them growing up was really pivotal to me. Also seeing like bands like, as I got further in my journey, like the Black Lips, I'm friends with those guys. And besides seeing a show, just like playing my own songs and like inspiring other people and like seeing people like sing the songs and stuff, that's the craziest thing. Like I play in Spain now and like people are like singing the songs. I'm like, that's insane. But it keeps me going, and like, music's like so hard and so tough, and the music industry is, it's not easy, but I think the coolest thing is like seeing other people inspired to follow their dreams and follow their passions, if that's music, art, or whatever, and touching other people. I think that's most important to me. If that answers your question, sorry. Okay, cool. All right.
And finally, I asked them if they had any general advice for aspiring songwriters.
I think it's just finishing is hard.
Oh, finishing is very hard.
Yeah, it sounds really easy, but it's that easy, it's that hard. I think that, a lot of bad stuff comes out, right? But that's okay, like make shitty art. You're making it, you're making something. But me personally, like I don't want to speak for Zach, but I don't give a shit if anybody likes my band. I want them to, I hope they do. But I'm purely just writing like the kind of shit that I would drive around listening to. Like, oh, isn't this cool? Isn't this gnarly? I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. That's all. It's the only kind of thing that I think that I ever want to write. I'm not a slave to anybody.
Yeah, because music's an outlet. And you write songs. It's like therapy. You're writing a song. It's therapy too. It was therapy when I was in 7th grade, writing about my middle school girlfriend. It's like therapy. I mean, beyond that, my dad passed away 2 years ago while I was finishing this record, and I was very heavily inspired to finish the album and continue on with touring, but I think it really helped me cope with that loss and everything. But I think with writing, I agree with Chad's statement, I just want to make art that's true to me as an artist and, what I appreciate and what I want to make and create. But I think any advice, just don't be scared. You might write a song that's good, you might write a song that's bad, but you just keep on writing and keep on improving. I have like 1,000 voice memos or more, just like a random stuff. And, I just try to keep writing.
Keep at it.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriting Mind. This interview with Zack Keim and Chad Monticue is recorded live on March 28, 2025 at Boise Contemporary Theater for Podfort at Treefort Music Festival in Boise, Idaho. Sound engineering for this event was handled by Brett Badostain. Special thanks to Podfort director Alisha Graefe. Zack Keim's album Battery Lane is available for streaming and on vinyl through Supersport Records. If you enjoyed this podcast, please rate, comment, and share it with others. I'm Eric Princess Dragon. Peace.